Awesome. Welcome to your GIVeconomy sync on November 30th. I'm really happy that you're all here. Wait, it's not November 30th. Sorry, it's December the 1st. Great. Okay, cool. So let's just do a round of intentions, distractions. My intentions for the call are to basically go over everything that's blocking us for getting testing set up, the first round of testing, and go through the board. And I also wanted to talk about the possibility of implementing the whole like delegation thing, because it does add scope, and I wanted to just discuss like whether we think it's a good idea, and and just checking on how everything's going everywhere, including Giving Block. I wrote all my intentions basically as the agenda. I am not distracted. I'm a little distracted. I'm distracted because I wanted to change the tweet that I was going to do for Gitcoin grants, but I guess I won't. I'll pass it to Cherek.
Thank you, Lauren. Good morning. My intention is give my updates and talk about the issues. I have some questions, so when we go to the hub board, I can ask them. I have no distracted. I pass it to Billy.
Thanks, Cherek. Good morning, everybody. My intention is to catch up on all the progress, see if there's anything I can help with. Excited to see the delegation flow and the Giving Block flow. I'll pass to Marco.
Thanks, Willie. Hi, everybody. My intentions for the call, delegation flow, check on that, and distractions, just the emails, notifications, and messages, and phone calls, another. Pass it over to Mitch. You want to go, or you still want to sip coffee?
It's all right. I got my sip in real quick. My intentions for this call is talk about delegation, and just update with any issues that are assigned to me. And I'll pass it to Mohammed.
Hey guys, my intention is to sync up with the others, and hopefully thank God I've moved my class from Wednesday to Tuesday, so I'm not distracted anymore, or I'm not in the car for this meeting. I pass it to Mosaidi.
Hi everyone. Intention for the call is actually seeing the delegation flow and see how I can help, and no distraction. I pass it to Monique. No, I mean.
Hey guys, I'm just here. I'm just here listening. I pass it back to Amy.
Hello everyone. Just a question. What do you mean delegation? Delegation which concept?
So we haven't talked about this yet. It's I think we'll talk about it first so that anyone who's here only for that can leave. But it's basically like we're talking about adding in a flow to be like, oh, we're calling delegates. But
my intention is to represent you, the updates on the GIVeconomy, and and talk about what's remain and what will be our plan for the test. I pass it to Monique.
Monique took it, but I already had it. But I'll take it. I'm excited to talk about scope creep and if we should even do this delegation thing, and see if we can push a launch before Yalda Night or the winter solstice, and see if we can make that a reality and what it would take, and really more like what could we cut from scope as opposed to adding to our to-do list. But if it's not possible to launch before Christmas and like the winter solstice, then maybe it's a different plan. So I would love to discuss that, like what the reality is of being able to launch before Christmas. And I'll pass it to Donna.
Hi everyone. Well, I want to, like anybody else, I want to sync up with everyone and the GIVeconomy and go to the delegation flow and see where I can help and how to test it, and I want to pass it on. Everyone is gone. Yeah, it's gone through.
I haven't gone yet.
I'm going to pass it back to Lauren.
I haven't gone yet, so I'll jump in real quick. Yeah, my intention for the call is just to like sync up with. Oh, it's okay, no worries. Sync up with everybody, see what's going on as far as testing goes, when that will start, as well as maybe give some updates on giving block stuff. And if there's time at the end of the call or before the call ends, I'd love to talk about some project verification stuff. So that's my intentions, and I don't really have any distractions. Still a little sleepy, but I'm here and conscious, and I'll pass it back to Lauren.
Okay, great. I think maybe it makes sense just to push this delegation thing out of the way, because maybe it's too much scope creep and we don't want to do it, or maybe we need to like empower people to come into it, but it'd be good to get everyone on the same page of like what this is and what it would entail. So there's a link in the agenda. So it's like here, issue 101 in the GIVeconomy board. And basically the delegation thing is in DAO voting in the garden. So for like decision voting, we have the option that people can delegate their voting powers to a delegate. And basically the delegate would only get their voting power if the person like wrapped their tokens, but they can delegate voting power before they wrap their tokens in the garden at all. So with the ENS and the Gitcoin token drops, they did this like call for delegates, and they got a bunch of people kind of like sort of championing their token before it launched, and it was like notable people in the space, and it like added a lot of like hype and cred to their token launch. So it's a valuable thing, and that we're kind of like getting people to represent the GIVeconomy before we even launch the GIVeconomy. But it would require additional scope, and what the additional scope would look like, I outlined here on this issue, and this is basically just kind of like what I understand. We need to write a forum post calling in delegates. We would need to get them to put in their ETH address, their Twitter handle, and a little description of why they want to be a delegate. And then we would need to store that information from the forum post in like a database and develop a front end, like maybe like Gitcoins here. Oh, maybe I open in a new tab. It's like where they have, hold on. Yeah, I know. I have to log in. I'm trying to log in. There you go. Good. Yeah. And so it basically just like shows delegate people, and then you can click info, which will link you to their forum post saying that why they're a delegate, and you can delegate your voting power to them. So it's like we'd kind of have to add this whole extra little thing into the design, and we could have a part in our give drop flow at the very end being like, delegate your tokens, and then you could like see delegates, you could see all these people who would nominate themselves, but it would require kind of like a comms campaign, a forum post. It would require us developing a database to store this information, and we'd need to design for the front end of it. And yeah, and that's kind of it. The advantages would be all the extra hype, and the disadvantages would be all the extra work. So yeah. So does anyone have any like first thoughts on whether or not they think this is too much, if they think it's feasible?
I thought that was a really great overview, Lauren, of the pros and cons, and I can totally see why we're torn with this, because it would be awesome. But I also understand the scope creep. It is like, it's not an insignificant amount of scope, but it's also one of those things that like you get the biggest bang for your buck if you have it at launch, basically. And then if you add delegation after launch, it's a lot harder to get that same hype, get people to come back and delegate. I do think that maybe delegation could be a little bit more valuable for projects like ENS or like Gitcoin, where they're dropping to a much larger group of users. Whereas I think one of the benefits we have is we have a pretty targeted group of users who are getting this first airdrop. And so I think that we might be in a better position to still get a lot of really engaged people and attract them to come into the community, even if we don't have delegation. Because sometimes like when there's the opportunity to be a steward, people might even be more excited to get involved, and then once they have people delegated to them, it's like more of a motive for them to actually be engaged and vote on everything. So there are benefits there, but I think that we are actually, with our airdrop list and the type of project we are, that's less of an important benefit for us. And I also think too that delegation in some ways is great, but in also some ways I think a little bit overhyped in the sense that, I think people, even if they get excited and come apply to be a delegate and get votes delegated to them, they don't always necessarily stay involved, basically. And I'm guilty of that myself, even with the Gitcoin stuff, and then just not having time to actually be as involved as I would like to be. So I think, my conclusion is I think that if I agree with Griff's take there, if we can get everything launched before Christmas without the delegation, I think it's probably worth it for us to do that. If not, then I think, and we have time to add delegation, I think we should consider it for sure. It's a tricky one though. So those are my thoughts. I don't have any super strong feelings, and I wondered too, how, as I said that, I realized it's like how much more beneficial will it be for us to launch right before Christmas versus after Christmas? If that's what it's coming down to, and maybe we are overestimating the value of that.
Overestimating the value of launching before Christmas?
Yeah, I was just thinking about that, and when you first said it, I was like, that is really valuable. Then I'm like, well, people might be distracted over Christmas anyways. It might not even be the best time to launch right before Christmas. But I do remember 1inch launched their token on Christmas, so there's some precedent for it. All right, pass it up to whoever's next.
Yeah, I would just say that I think it would be a valuable social engagement, but we will have to fight the confusion of delegation works for votes that will happen very rarely, DAO voting, and then we expect people to vote. They have to vote for themselves on conviction voting. So we'd have to be really careful when we advertise delegation to be like, conviction voting, you still have to vote yourself. You're only delegating for some votes. And I don't know, it would be a change of pace. But I do think it would be a really good social move and would bring some value to us. But then we just gotta launch, even adding more scope is a little bit scary to me, because I feel like we keep adding a lot, we're redoing the whole DApp, and all these things. So we should really have a scope freeze at some point. And I feel like that point was probably before this meeting. I'm definitely, I do think it would be really valuable. But it also just depends, where are we on the current deployment? How close, what's blocking that? And are we able to get that out this week? The next test, so we can actually start testing the full economy and really get this thing going? Or are there some more blockers? That would, for me, that would inform a lot of basically even if we can't launch before Christmas, and really the winter solstice, the 21st, so that we have a couple days to be late on missing that deadline, then I'm more okay with adding scope. But I just don't know if we even have the, I know that there's a lot of design stuff that's still going. So, I don't know what the bandwidth is of our design resources to take on this. I think we would have the developer resources. But what do you think, Marco?
Regarding the design resources, we would probably manage that. I would just like to say +1 on everything that Billy said, because that's exactly what I was thinking all the way along. And then also +1 on everything what you said. The value of this, what I think, the hype that goes around, when the delegations and, social media, promotion and all that stuff, I think we're going to get it anyway from the people who are getting the airdrop. So that delegation process wouldn't add that much benefit as opposed to how it was in other examples of Gitcoin or ENS. Just a thought on that. And I'm always for less scope, less work, especially before the launch. And if our main goal is to target to launch before Christmas, let's just focus on that. we're not losing that much if we don't do the delegation right now. Other than that, I also think that people who are getting the airdrop are the ones that we, as Willie said, carefully selected. I mean, that list was a good selections, and so those people would most probably be engaged and are much closer to Giveth. And so later on, for me, makes even more sense to do the delegation later on when we have like more people and in the community and more token holders actually. So yeah, those are my thoughts. And regarding resources, for me, I perfectly know how this process goes, and like in a matter of a couple of days, we will probably be able to prepare that when it comes just to the front end and visual design. But there's a lot of work going on in the back end and also the communications, and like there's an outline in the GitHub issue already. So yeah, those are my comments and all that. And like final thought, I would just put it on hold and just focus on the launch.
Okay, it sounds like we kind of have like some really good points to just hold off on it. Unless anyone has anything to say, like, no, we definitely need to have it now, I think we can kind of push forward with the rest of the agenda. Yeah, great. Awesome, cool. Okay, so it sounds like delegation would be nice to have, but yeah, let's push forward with testing, not paying much attention to it right now. If it turns out that we just suddenly have lots of time and resources and we're going to launch for Christmas, then we could add it in, but we can revisit it, but just put it on hold for now. Okay, great. Awesome. Okay, so anyone who's only here to talk about delegation, thank you for coming. If you want to stick around, I'll be your host, Lauren. Okay, great. So the other thing I kind of put, before this meeting, I put together the things I was thinking are our main blockers before testing, and I wanted to go over this particularly with Amin and Cherik and Mohammed and just talk about like if this makes sense and when we think we're going to be able to get through these blockers, and if these are like actually like if this is actually like the roadmap towards being ready for testing. So yeah, I'm still sharing my screen, so it's like I put them all up here. I guess, well, like one thing that we had going was this this whole epic of updating all these numbers on the whole GIVeconomy, like all the GIVeconomy, like all of the amounts, like the total aggregated amount for the Give farm and all these different claim flows. So I just want to kind of check in where we're at with this epic.
Nice to have them all listed here. I know that we have few of them complete. You know, it's should be prepared on the back end, and you know some information need to be provided with the back end, and also the front end be ready to display them. Cherik knows better than me which are finally exhibited in the front end. We can update them after the call, or you can see the visit the page. Visit the page right now. The develop is the update. Yes, Cherik.
Yeah, it's like to be updated, but the harvest model is not merge develop. It's implemented, but it's not merge develop. But the other things, yes, they are on the develop, and you can check them.
I guess the stream of the farms has valid numbers. Yes.
The stream of the farms, yeah, they are valid numbers. But the reward card on the top of the page is not fixed yet. But yeah, when I merge this branch to the develop, many of things will fix. But no, we don't have it.
Okay, so the only thing you're saying, these cards are not finished yet, but like it's calculating the stream properly, but the harvest model is done. So what are we still missing?
We can go step by step and talk about the reward card in the garden. It's finished, and the harvest model is finished. Just a small part about show the loading and the pending confirmation is still remain, but the numbers are completed and working in my branch. And after I merge it to develop, you can see it on this address. The good farm, we have some updates we should implement when the user network is wrong. We should show something, some alerts, or maybe it's something like this. But
yeah, the garden works only on XDAI, and if user needs to switch to XDAI in order to use garden menu. Maybe some another alert should be designed by UX team.
Yeah, so it's like in any case, if they're not connected to the right network, we need like a switch network thing.
Yeah.
And you need a design for that.
Trey, is in the farm page, is that stream values correct?
Yeah, I fixed them, but I fixed them in my branch, not here. But I fixed them. Yeah, they are.
Cool.
Okay, that's good. So the APRs are correct, the claimable amount's working properly, and the streaming is working properly. It's just this isn't working, right? Because this is just supposed to be like the total sum of everything that you have claimable and the sum of all the streams.
Yeah, I should calculate them and show them, but I'm not implemented them yet. I have a question about the claimable in the card. We should show the liquid part or all the claimable, or the...
Yes?
No, in the card, in the give card.
In the card.
Farm card.
Yeah, claimable should be only liquid.
Oh.
Yeah, but if we show the claimable amount here, how can user find out how much the total amount?
We don't want to tell them the total amount. We want to frame it, because the total, when you tell them the total amount, it sounds like you're taking money, you're taking it from them. So instead, we just tell them the claimable amount and the streaming amount.
Yeah.
The streaming amount will increase, which will let them know that they're getting more over time.
Yeah, okay. So I calculate this amount, just I should replace it. There is no complex task, so I will do it. No problem.
Okay, great. Yeah, so that's clear, right? So this is the claimable amount, so it's liquid, and this is like what's not liquid divided by the time remaining on the stream.
Yeah, consider them implemented and done. I remember that you asked about APR, but I don't know about them. Maybe Amin can help. Yeah?
Yeah, the APR for the balancer and SushiSwap and HoneySwap and 100% give should be working. I have implemented them before. Today I found time to look at how to calculate the APR of the Uniswap. It's not easy. Actually, the Bright ID team has implemented some backend in order to calculate how much Ethereum is in the circulation. And maybe we need a node backend. A backend written by Node, and we copy the code from the Bright ID. we don't. I want to pay at least 1 hour to see whether we can. Is there any opportunity to implement that in the graph as other feature as another data fetched from the graph? It would be cool if we have just single the graph, and it's really synced with the network very well. But as I said, it's complex, and maybe we need to bring up, set up a node server and fetch the information of the NFT staking from that server.
Okay, is that something you need support from Mohammed from, or some support maybe you could get from Pablo who's also here? No, you need to do this yourself?
Thank you. No, it's all about calling the working with the smart contracts of the Uniswap, and all the code is ready from the Bright ID team. Hopefully that's open source.
Okay,
I am to run it. I hope it goes smooth. It be smooth, and there will be no bug there.
Okay, so that's your main focus for today, is like working on getting this Uni pool working.
Yes.
Okay, cool. And then I guess just like going through the rest of. Are we done with the gift farm? Do you guys have any more questions?
Nothing. About the buy gift token, what's the URL that I should redirect the user?
I'm not sure.
You're mute.
Yeah, I was just explaining. Griff asked me what, and then I was just telling him because maybe he knows.
It would just be, Uniswap. Well, it depends on what network they're on. If it's on, it'll be Uniswap v3 for mainnet, or, we could give them the choice of Uniswap or SushiSwap, but we're putting more incentive behind Uniswap, so I would think we'd send them to Uniswap, and then for on XDAI it'd be HoneySwap.
What about 1 inch exchange?
No, I wouldn't use 1 inch. We could send them to 1 inch because that would do SushiSwap and Uniswap, but it charges a lot of extra gas to use 1 inch.
Yeah.
Cool. Great. Awesome. Okay, so that's settled. Any other questions, Charik, or Mohammed?
No, I don't have any questions.
Cool. So are you expecting to merge your branch to this develop today?
Yeah, I will do it today.
Cool. So actually even all these numbers will be working properly too. And also the stream, the aggregated amount.
I write a function that calculates all of them, so there's nothing complex. Just I should sum claimable amounts of the cards and show them on the top of. Yeah, this is all of things that I should.
Exactly. Yeah. This is just the sum of all 3 claimable amounts, and this is just the sum of all 3 streams.
Yeah, about the reward card, there is an icon XDAI on the top.
It should say Ethereum if you're connected to Ethereum.
Yeah. So I should remember to change. Yeah.
I also made an issue. I tagged you in it, but this should say not give stream. It should say staking. But that's small and not that important. But okay, great. So give backs. So
I get the give back number from the back end, so maybe Mohammed can explain the progress of the give back.
I return some parameters to Cherik. Cherik can use them, but but some of the parameters need to be updated in some events. We have it, but it's not precise. And told me that I should read smart contracts more, and when the parameters change in the smart contract, I should change them in the subgraph. But you can use it, Cherik, but it's maybe not correct. But the logic is the same, and our API, I think it's the same.
Lauren, maybe you need to set up another distributor. Sorry, or we can set up another. I can do it. We can set up another distributor, to pay givebacks for the test. The only giveback is paid is only one way. It's not. It cannot be displayed in the front end.
Mohammed, could you please return a mark number or random number here? Maybe it's.
You want it not be zero?
Yeah, it's not make sense. Yeah.
Okay.
So, you were saying we need to set up another distributor. I thought givebacks were being calculated by our backend at Giveth.io, and then those numbers are sent to our GiveDAO, which then calls the distributor or whatever to send the tokens to the addresses.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's not going to work?
Someone should manually call it right now. How we calculate givebacks? We see a number of allocation with allocation events with giveback paid event after them. Giveback paid event after them. Whole be in the same transaction, so we consider them as givebacks. Someone should do the transaction for test. Maybe I can teach Cherik. I can give define an account for Cherik, which is distributor, and pay himself give back sometimes.
Okay.
Thank you.
So basically, givebacks need to be paid manually by someone who's is the distributor.
Yes.
And then when the givebacks are paid, you're saying you can't separate the amount that's actually from givebacks from the other amount, I guess, that was in the token distro, or?
Yeah, once someone claims, the giveback amount will become zero.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I know that, but that's why we created that harvest model. So I don't know where I can see an easy picture of it. I think harvest rewards pop up. Yeah. So this is if they claim anything, they get also what's coming from givebacks, and it all comes as just one thing into their wallet. But we just break it down here on the front end so that people can see that they're also claiming from givebacks.
Yeah, and that 500 includes that liquid amount, yes or no? It should be
can we actually just subtract it from there so that the givebacks is kept separate? So it's the amount that came from the stream is separate from the amount they earn from givebacks,
Yeah, it's possible. Cherik, did you get it? If in case we have giveback, we should decrease the liquid amount from that 257.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, just so that the user can understand, they donated and then they got givebacks, and this is how much givebacks they got for their amount of donations. It's just it's important, I think, for the understanding of givebacks.
Yeah.
Okay,
awesome.
Excuse me, about the harvest button here in the givebacks, what should it show to the user?
It will be like this, except it won't show this top part. It'll say your giveback rewards. I think it's in the design, and then it just says from givebacks and then claimable from the gift stream. It'll just be these two bottom parts.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
Great. Okay. Also, givebacks is only on XDAI, so if the user is connected to mainnet, this should just say switch network or something.
there's a GitHub issue for that that you created, I think, or someone. I tagged Mosady for that. So Mo, I tagged you. Take a look at it. We're just gonna create a preview so the guys know what to do there.
Nice. Okay, awesome. Thanks, Marco and Mo.
Excuse me, about the bottom of the page, give background. As I remember, you said that the rounds are 2 weeks and it's periodically update and the amount is a fixed number. I want to know who get the responsibility of this. Someone change it, or I get them from backend, or I should implement in the front end. Maybe Amin can help discussion.
Oh yeah.
I think we could implement it in the front end because the only time it would change would be like with governance vote, and it's quite likely that it will never change. So I think just hard coding at the front end would be pretty smart.
Yeah, put in some config file that everyone with permission can update that, some text config file that put this number inside, and someone create a pull request manually, easily, and press the button and CI/CD deploys the new one.
Yeah, so I just write a config file and read data from them, and I don't need to do it automatically.
Yeah. I mean, the amount allocated to each round is going to be 1 million every round. It's just that we might not give out 1 million if we don't get enough donations, but I wouldn't even, at least on this page, I would just hard code it to 1 million.
Yeah, so the give allocate to the round is always going to be 1 million, and then the date is just like every 2 weeks, it's the next week. It's like it just switches over. It just rolls over to the next 2 weeks. Same with like the round number. So it's like round 1 is the first 2 weeks, and then it's the next 2 weeks, and round 2. And it's just like that forever and ever and ever.
Yeah. And
unless we like make a big change.
And the start date is the same of the token distro start date, yeah?
Yeah, the start date will be, exactly. The start date will be our launch date. It'll be like the date that people can claim Give, the date that the stream starts.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
In the round number and
every 2 weeks it's increased 1.
Yeah. Every 2 weeks increase 1.
For example.
Awesome. Cool. So I think this looks great then. Oh, and I think you changed these probably on your branch already, right, Tarek?
Yeah. They are okay.
Okay, good. Oh wait, no, these were right. Yeah, go ahead, Ash.
With the givebacks, like you said, the first round will start on the launch date, but how will we go about retroactive givebacks? Is that something that's still in scope? Because it seems like people are expecting that a bit. So, like, how do we go?
I think that's something that the RGive DAO should do after launch, but we can't do it until after launch, and probably I would expect it to not happen for the first month. Because, there'll be a lot of chaos during the launch. So, just, we never announced it publicly. We're definitely going to do it. But we shouldn't commit to anything. And I think it'd be good to do retroactive givebacks once the price stabilizes, which might take about a month.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, there's an issue for it. It's just in the icebox. We talked about it a few weeks ago. Good stuff. Okay, cool. So that's everything on the givebacks page, and then GiveStream. Where are we at with this? Like, did you guys figure out this working properly? The table and like the right labels and everything?
No, I can't work on it. It's still remaining. You have a issue for it?
It's allocation, right? We had it on some extent.
Yeah, we have it, but there is some small details that should change. For example, GiveLM should have an icon and map to the meaningful name. Some change like this. And for example, pagination should implement it. And there is just next and back here. So some details are remaining. Yeah, I can't. I didn't have enough time to work on it, but I will do it. Yeah, I think tomorrow.
I guess you should make yourself ready to accept some new help. Someone to another developer help. So you can keep these kinds of tasks for them in order to onboard new front-end developer and get help from them. Hopefully, Griff has some developers to introduce us.
I think starting next week, we're going to be able to get some help from Vitor, Fabio, and Pedro. I think Fabio is more front-end and Pedro too as well. I think we'll be able to help.
And Fabio is already helping, right?
Yes, Fabio did great help. He refactored the, he ported the code of the NFT staking here. It was good. It was a huge improvement. Thanks him. I don't know whether Fabio is still available or he's busy or he's in vacation. I don't know. But I guess Cherik needs some help in front end.
Yeah, ask Fabio.
Maybe can you ask Fabio for support? Cherik, do you know Fabio?
Yeah, I know. I can call him. Yeah.
Maybe you can get his support to finish out this GiveStream page, even this week.
This is a simple task. Overall, I guess we need someone to help overall with, work over with Cherik. I'm begging Cherik to, define subtasks and allocate, leave them for some new developer to take over.
So, Griff, is Fabio available? Like, how much can we tap in, and how can we get him synced up with Cherik to be supporting more regularly?
So Fabio only has about 5 to 10 hours a week, unfortunately. But Pedro will start next week, and he's got more like 20 hours a week. He actually has 30 hours a week, but 10 will probably be continued to make small improvements or bug fixes on the dashboard. So he's got 20 to 25 hours a week, is what I'd say. And then Vitor is going to come in as well, but he's more of a back-end support, but he can, of course, do front-end too.
Hey, Griff, we also have Nebs. We also have Nebs, who's working right now with Christopher. Is there a way he can kind of shadow some of the front-end developers, at least for during December, get a little bit more familiar with the code and everything else? I don't know, and then maybe be able to accept or take on some of the tasks early next year or something like that. I don't know. Just a suggestion.
I mean, if Nebs has the bandwidth right now, then I think coming in right now might make sense. I don't know. What do you guys think? I'd be curious. No, he doesn't have the bandwidth.
No, because they have a super tight deadline on the praise thing, and it's they're not sure if they're gonna make it, even that. But I just wanted him to I shared him Giveth already and the repo and everything else. But it would be maybe good if he can just shadow someone, take a look here and there, be aware of what's going on, or I don't know, so that he's more prepared next time when he's more available.
I mean, the best way to get involved is the all devs, the stand-up calls in the morning, right, guys? Or in my time, but
yeah, maybe we can separate. We have a dev call every morning. Your morning. I prefer a developer that be available just right now, and yeah, I try. Yeah, he's very experienced. I love his work.
Yeah.
And so Fabio and Pedro is doing great work too. He's more of a hacker than Fabio. Fabio produces really high quality. Pedro is like, he'll hack something together really nicely and fast, you know, but he's more of a hacker type. So they're a good 1-2 punch, because I think Fabio could polish some of what he hacks together, you know. And then Vitor also is a huge finisher, and can step in and probably do front end work if needed, you know, even though he's more of a back end guy.
Oh, that's nice.
I'll try to get them to come. I'll try to get Vitor and Pedro to come to the All Devs call. If the next one's tomorrow and then the one after that is Monday.
You know, All Dev call may be a little boring for them, because most of the discussion agenda is about Giveth.io. Maybe I, Churik, and Mohammed should have another call for ourselves, and yeah, invite them to that and just discuss the GIVeconomy.
That sounds great.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
we can't go ahead with that. It's not important. You can go give that timing, because, you know, rescheduling is a little bit hard. But we can give updates about just 5 minutes, and after that, you go ahead.
No, that's good. So we go to another room?
As you prefer, you know, because the emphasis is on just GIVeconomy. Me and Metal and Carl, and also Ramin can, you know, just say updates as fast as possible, and after that, we can continue.
Yeah, Ramin updates, it takes 10 minutes. Yeah.
okay.
You know, he's a huge worker, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. It
Okay.
means that he's doing lots of things.
So I guess, do we want to when is the best time to get Vitor and Fabio starting to come into the stand-ups? Like tomorrow? Is this something I need to organize?
We can ping, you know, I don't know whether they are available for tomorrow. And what about Fabio? Does Vitor, you mentioned that Vitor.
I have a call with Vitor tonight. And so I could ask for him to come to the call tomorrow. And then I can also ask Pedro to come to the call tomorrow if that's the best place. Otherwise, I can try to just coordinate a call between the 5 of you if that time doesn't work for them, you know, and see how it works out. But Fabio knows about these calls already.
Okay, you know, maybe 3 or 2 is much. We need just 1 person. How about you think, Churik? How many do you want to add?
Yeah, I think we can have a meeting. Me and we can have a meeting and talk about the remaining tasks and have estimation about them. After that, we can decide. Decide.
One thing that's really cool is that Fabio, Vitor, and Pedro are all in the same city, and so they'll all just meet up and have like a hackathon, you know, and just like hack for a couple of days, all in the same place, and get a lot done. And so I would say, like, trying to get all 3 of them involved they can share information really easily and ask questions. Like Vitor kind of can manage both of their works as almost like a sub project manager. So it works really well. I would be in favor of trying to get all 3 of them, just because we call them the Brazilian ninjas, you know?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, cool. So, are you going to talk? You're going to talk to them?
I'm going to talk to them.
Okay, great. Good. So maybe they'll come tomorrow. Maybe they'll come after that.
Yeah, I mean, they're finishing they're finishing their dashboard. It has 4 issues left, you know, but and that's it. it's done. So, but I think they can get started on Giveth, and I'll try to get them to come to the call tomorrow, or organize something.
Cool, thanks. Okay, so then I guess, so when you merge this, like the last, when you've been working on your branch to develop, it won't have this page complete, right, Jarek? And so this is what you need support on, like finishing the history table with all of the correct labels, and then like the flow rate.
The flow rate is implemented in my branch, and about the review reward card on top. Let me. I didn't implement the stream reward card, but I think it's okay to implement. I didn't have any question about it.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. All right. Sounds good. So it sounds like, at least for the Give Farm and the Give Gardens and like Give Backs, this is all kind of ready. The Give Stream is the sort of only thing outstanding. Maybe we could just like, when we have the new, like when we have your branch merged, we can actually just get like people coming in and playing with this. But I know also that the Give Farm rewards are maybe ending soon. And I mean, before we were talking about potentially having to make a new deployment. And then if we want to deploy a new garden, and if we need to deploy a new token, and I just wanted to check in on kind of like, what we would need to do for that, and like what makes the most sense. That's kind of also what I put here. Do we need to deploy a new test give token for the deploy a new garden?
There is a point. We have not tested we have changed the Merkle distro. We have not tested that. Sorry, Merkle drop. So what's the name? I don't know.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we have not tested that. Also, I'm not sure if it will be easy if we change the token. It will be easy for you to deploy a new garden in a matter of cost and time.
Yeah, I think it's pretty easy to deploy a new garden, but then you need to do the same thing and change out the rewards contract.
Yeah, you're right. So, let me first, because the updates from updates on the front end and the back end are not complete. Let's keep the current token, deploy new ones. Maybe we need to mint new tokens and exit the supply limit. And for the next round, we deploy everything again. Deploy the new token, because it's very time consuming, and maybe it takes at least half of a day from me to deploy everything again.
Yeah, I think before we deploy everything again, let's make sure that like everything's kind of like working correctly in the front end, because there's no point in to deploy it if we're not going to actually get people then using and testing it like we did the last time. But actually, you were mentioning the give drop. I mean, there were a lot. I know, like, so the design changes and updates were already in there for the give drop, and then I think the front end hasn't been fixed up for this yet either, right? Did you see the changes, Jarek? I think I sent it to you, but I don't think.
I didn't do anything for it.
Right. I think that what we need really is like some front end development support. So it'll be really good to get Fabio and Pedro in. It sounds like a lot is just calling to Jarek, and we're like, Jarek, have you done everything yet? And
yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, all right. So great. Okay, first step 1, get Fabio and Pedro working on fixing up the front end. Step 2, once all that's fixed, deploy everything again, except don't deploy a new test token, and then we'll get people testing the Give Farm. Does that make sense for the right flow? And then step 3, fix those things. Step 4, deploy a new test token, deploy a new guard, and deploy everything again and test.
Yeah.
What do you think, Amin?
Yeah, the metal drop. Yeah. They are the only concern me. Yeah.
Okay. But we're going to fix the front end of the give drop before we do the give drop again, right? With the changes?
Yeah. I think, I agree. I hope we have some developer which has received, we have some address for a developer which is eligible to receive give drop, because everyone here has claimed his reward, his give drop. I don't know, our Fabio or what is the name about that? Or Pedro, yeah. Are they eligible for give drop?
Yeah, they are.
Okay, cool. Let's go.
Or at least they were added at some point. They will get a give drop.
They're all fine.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, well, I think that's a pretty good picture of where we're at for testing. We only have like a couple minutes left. I wanted to check in quickly about where we're at with the giving block thing, because I was just a little bit out of the loop. Maybe Monique or Ashley probably are the best people who know what's going on here.
Well, yeah, I can give some updates. We need to have a project owner for the Giving Block projects. Griff created a shared key, but I haven't received the credentials for it yet. I don't know if you sent it over on Signal or not, but I haven't received that personally yet. So we do have an address to be the project owner of these projects. The thing is that we're also going to need like an email address in order to create that profile. So I need to create an email address that would receive the emails for the projects. And then that kind of brings me my next question is, the API for the Giving Block projects doesn't include email addresses to contact these projects. So we need to figure out with the Giving Block, first I need to know if that's a requirement, if that's something that we definitely need to have, or if that's something that we can move forward without. And then get in contact with the Giving Block, and if we do need the email addresses, figuring out how we can get that information.
Okay, that makes sense. So I guess you're going to contact the Giving Block about that, or?
Yeah, I'm in discussion with Alexi and Carlos together, and I'm trying to set up a call with the two of them to kind of see what the best thing is, but I guess I wanted to kind of like touch base with you guys and see, like, do we need to contact these projects? Do we need to have emails for these projects? Is that a requirement to have them on our application?
I would say it's ideal, but it's not a blocker.
Okay.
That's what I was thinking. There might be some technical issue with having a bunch of projects with this. No, we can have a bunch. Yeah, maybe for like an MVP, we just put Giving Block as the owner and see if we can put like info at Giving Block as the email. And then I do agree, if we can get the projects emails, is better, because then they'll get an email notification. So
we should try to send the emails to the Giving Block and not to an email that we create.
Just as a temporary thing, I think like ask to get email. But then yeah, if we can get the project emails, which I bet they have, I would think they would probably have. Then the projects themselves can actually get an email whenever they get a donation. But now that I'm realizing that the projects might not even want that, because the way that these Giving Block projects work is like they don't think about every single Giving Block or every single crypto donation. They just get a big chunk in Gemini, and that's what they see. So maybe it's actually less important to have their email.
Yeah, so that's kind of what I was thinking too. I don't know why it would be imperative to contact them for any reason. And I guess if there was like a big issue, we could reach out to Giving Block at that time. But yeah, so I'll navigate that a bit more and see like what the possibilities are. And then the last blocker is that I think that the Giving Block projects, when they create their projects, can choose which tokens they want to accept and which ones they don't. So I need to find out if we need to have a unique token list for each of these projects, or whether we're just going to choose a few, or because the thing is that the Giving Block generates a brand new address for every donation made, but we'll only be using one wallet address for each project. And so we need to make sure that they can accept all the different currencies with that one wallet address. So that's also what I'm discussing between Alexi and Carlos, and trying to get them like in contact with one another, and maybe like set up a call with the three of them. I just received an email from him this morning, so I'm going to respond after this call and move forward on that.
Cool. Cool. Awesome. Thanks, Ashley, for following up with that. Guys, our call is already 2 minutes over. Sorry for keeping you late. I don't have another call right now. That's why I'm still hanging out. But I think we covered pretty much everything that we needed to go through. And so, yeah, thanks for going. We'll just respect everyone's time.
If Willie and Griff, if you have a minute after this call, I'd love to talk to you about some project verification stuff for maybe like 5 minutes.
Yeah, I got time.
Cool.
Yeah, excuse me, I have another question about the responsive of design. Is it in progress, or what happened to it? Because it's useless on a small screen. So I want to know about it's an important part if we want to release it on production. We should support smaller screens. So there's an update for it.
Griff is just saying maybe we should just cut mobile out of scope.
I know we can.
Sorry, guys. I add something here. Maybe we can. I think we can actually skip developing the mobile version, but the responsive version is actually supported until the a small tablet. I think maybe it's better to have that and just skip the